Let's take a moment for you to analyze your own physical voice. Where would you put yourself on this scale? Is your voice too loud, too soft, or just right? Is it too high-pitched, too deep-pitched, or just right? Do you have a smooth voice, or is it hoarse and gravelly? Is your voice full and resonant, or thin? Keep these things in mind as we continue to talk about voice. Now, in order to find and use your best voice, let's look at how the voice actually works. Most people think that their voice is only affected by their vocal cords right here. If you put your hand here and you go, you can feel your vocal cords vibrating. And of course, that is how to make a voice. But actually, your entire body, from your diaphragm, which is about here, up to your brain, affects your voice. This is how your voice works. Your diaphragm sits here. It's like an inverted trampoline. It's able to move up and down. It's a muscle. You can't feel it, but it's in there. And its job is to control your voice. So, first step, you breathe in. You breathe in and you let your diaphragm take the impact of that. So you breathe in, the diaphragm goes down. You breathe out, the diaphragm comes up. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And that happens for your whole life like your heartbeat. The reason that I'm making a big deal about that is because the diaphragm going up and down with your breath will affect your voice. As you breathe out and the diaphragm comes up, the air comes up, 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 and now the brain says, I'm going to speak. Those vocal cords that I talked about before don't move and make a sound unless the brain tells them to. So the air comes up, the brain says, I'm going to talk now, the vocal cords move, the lips move, the tongue moves, the brain decides what language to speak, what you're going to say. Good morning, my name is Bonnie. And all that happens in a split second. Okay, let's see what happens when a person gets nervous. When a person gets nervous, one of the first things happens is, you guess before I tell you. You stop breathing. Even think about being in a room and suddenly all the lights go out. What's the first thing that happens? Breath holding. You are standing up in front of an audience. What might be the first thing that happens? Nervous. The brain says, I'm nervous. The breath is held, and you may not even realize you're doing it. Let's see what happens to your voice. If you hold your breath, or if you breathe shallow, in other words, the air just goes to here, you can't get any diaphragm action at all. And these muscles around here are going to go scrunch, they're going to go tight. When that happens, the voice gets high-pitched and quiet, and it sounds nervous. And so, without you even realizing it, if the brain says, I'm nervous, these things could happen. The other thing that happens is resonance. I talked about that before. Resonance means the sound is bouncing around in your body to give it fullness. So while you're talking and that air is coming up from the diaphragm, it could bounce your voice around in your chest, behind your vocal cords, in your mouth, and in your nose. So your whole body is a beautiful vocal instrument. Now, what happens when you hold your breath? There can't be any chest resonance or resonance around the vocal cords. And that's what makes the voice sound nervous. Technically, it makes it not have resonance, be thin, and sometimes high-pitched. And so that may be why you don't like the sound of your voice or people tell you to project more. Now, the other thing that happens, fortunately and unfortunately, is our muscles have memory. So the muscles, like the diaphragm, the muscles around the vocal cords, the whole vocal mechanism, it remembers the last time you were in front of an audience, and it might just automatically seize up, even when you aren't feeling nervous. Our muscles have memory to allow us to do things spontaneously. But when it comes to speech, that also happens. And so what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to now tell you how to find the voice you were born with, which means everything is working perfectly and you sound great. Now, to really let your voice project in a natural way, you have to always breathe out when you're speaking. Ask yourself, notice on yourself, are you breathing? This is the most important tip, to try to breathe from the diaphragm, but also to always speak on the out breath. Never hold your breath. I hope you've enjoyed these tips. I know I've certainly enjoyed bringing them to you. If you'd like more information about speech science and our courses and programs, please visit my website or give me a call. I look forward to talking to you.